we are going to go live, and we'll talk. We're going to start with our fading suns, and we're going to just jump right into it. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Fading Suns Thursday. I am JM, your GM, and with me tonight are Val and Perpetua. We are coming to you from an undisclosed bunker underground, and we're just going to jump right into it. So, when we last left off. When we last left off with you two, Gregor had been kidnapped by a mysterious figure in a hood, and you guys were heading out to save him. The rest of the Oh Boy crew went to rescue Lucia from the kidnappers who had taken her to Hadrian's Wall, Count Orlaton, as well as Tag, and you don't know how that has gone yet. Our chat knows, and possibly you as people know, but your characters do not. So we're going to pick up with, as you watch the Gemma and Jexa and Captain Mars head off to look at the shrine to St. Beatrice and then head to Hadrian's Wall. What is your plan? We're going to just pick up right where you left off.
How far are we? So I know you said there were two docks that I know of that this ship could kind of dock at. How far are we from them?
So they're both in the main city. So you're probably about 4 or 5 miles from the possible locations that one of those flitters could stop at.
And are they in different directions? Are they on different sides of the city? Or are they fairly close together?
They're fairly close together. One seems to be an old warehouse, and the other one is, according to Perpetua's map, is a sort of a noble's estate.
Which nobles?
I would need an interface roll for this.
What is interface? I've never done that.
Uh-oh. Well, that would be how you access information off of sort of the technological substrata of the known worlds. So it would be a wits plus interface roll. Now, interface is restricted. If you don't have any points in it, you can't make that roll.
I don't. Perpetua, do you? Okay. We don't know which nobles.
Well, there you go.
So, my thought on this, we know that we found evidence that House somebody else was involved in or was around when Gregor was kidnapped. We don't know that they were involved. And so the question is, would they have taken him to a warehouse or would they have taken him back to their estate?
I would assume they'd want to take him back to the estate. That's what I would assume. We could try there, see if anything weird's going on. Look for the ship.
We could do that. You want to go right in there? We don't know anything about it.
I'm concerned about. Well, we could take the time to ask around, and I could try to look up some of my contacts, but I'm concerned about timing. We don't know how quickly this is going down, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, so I'm not saying, let's take a couple of days to figure it out. I'm just saying, there's got to be a tavern or something where we can maybe get some information about the noble's estate and maybe get some better basis for half a plan.
Yeah. So, JM, I'm from here.
You are.
I presumably have contacts who know who comes in and out of the city and who's doing what.
I'd presume that as well. You want to try and find somebody in the know?
I wanna track down a couple of my old buddies and see what they've heard.
All right, give me a presence plus knavery roll.
Oh, this will go well. That's not actually sarcasm. That will go well.
Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Success with an 11.
All right, how much do you want to spend?
I'll spend 8.
All right. So what's the name of this contact, and how do you know them, Val?
Oh boy. Okay. I'd say it's probably know some people that I used to go drinking with, did a few robberies with. Say the one I'm looking for. Let's just call him Lenny because
Lenny?
I can't think of anything else. So I'm looking for my pal Lenny.
All right. So you head out into the city, and Perpetua, I assume you're doing all of this with your you're kind of keeping track of everything, your think machine and that as well. So you head into Hakkonen proper, and very soon Val has led you into some of the, well, let's just call it the rougher neighborhoods of Hakkonen, and you end up at this bar, and the bar has no name whatsoever. So the fact that this bar has no name is kind of your first indication that this may not be where you want to, necessarily to visit often. But Val just strides in, and Val, as you get into this place, it's as bad as you remember. Your boots stick to the floor probably a little more than you remember, but you can see.
They haven't mopped in a while.
You can see Jojo behind the bar, kind of the proprietor of everything, and he sort of looks up. The old cybernetic eye that he has that kind of takes up the majority of the left half of his face, the 3 little optical receptors, kind of 2 of them immediately swivel to you, the 3rd one kind of lingers on the bar, and he hits the side of his head, and it snaps to look at you. Val, good to see ya.
Hey, is Lenny around?
Lenny? Yeah, he's in the back. He's in the middle of something, so I'd appreciate it if you would let him finish.
All right. I know how he is. Let's get a couple of drinks then. I'll sit down at the bar.
What brings you and your friend in?
Oh, just back on planet. Looking to reacquaint myself with some old contacts.
Lenny's been running numbers for me. He'll be out in a bit. And you notice that he's pouring all of the drinks with his right hand. His left hand is under the bar the entire time. You're not wrapped up in that business at the Van Dorm estate, are you?
No.
I know
What business?
You and the Lady Van Dorm go back.
I just got back. Been out of system for a while. What's happening?
Somebody wants that oaf you used to rattle around with dead.
Greggy? Why?
Listen, I don't know why. All I know is that a blackout order was issued on the Van Dorm estate. None of us in, none of us out. They did a pretty bang-up job of cordoning off the whole place so that Lucia couldn't get any messages out. I'm just saying, I know you and he were pretty tight back in the day, but whoever wants this done, they've got noble firebirds that they're throwing around.
Do we know which nobles? Be interested to know who he managed to piss off.
No, all I've heard is that you need to be real careful if you're gonna get involved in this. I've heard that they've got one of the, and he kind of pauses in the middle of pouring the drinks for you. Yeah, they've got one of the Archons involved. You both know that the Archons are House Hazat's sort of spy/assassination cadre. At this point, a really short, rotund man, kind of mopping his face, rather nervously, beet red face, flop sweat definitely staining the undersides of his shirt. And he's like, Jojo, I need... And he looks right at you, Val, and the hand holding the handkerchief. Val! Val, it's good to see you. I need to... And he starts to step back through the door.
Lenny!
Lenny takes off running.
I'm chasing him.
What are you doing, Perpetua?
Following Val.
All right, I need Dex plus Vigor rolls from both of you. I should probably get some dice out. Oh,
I succeed with a 12.
Success with a 5.
How much do you guys want to spend to catch up with Lenny?
I'll spend 8.
Yeah, I'll match that.
All right, Lenny is not the fastest rabbit in the hutch. And as you guys go into this back room, you see a table with with stacks of Firebirds, several ledgers laid out. Lenny has tried to turn around and kick a chair behind you, and with a natural 20, his feet sort of get tangled up in the chair, and he hits the ground with a wet thwapping noise. And kind of gets up, but before he can get his feet back out from under him, both of you, one of you on one side, one of you on the other side, you kind of lift him to his feet.
You know, you really know how to make a girl feel welcome, Lenny.
But it's so good to see you, Val. I'm very glad to see you.
Yeah, I can tell by the way
Welcome
you ran away
home.
from me.
Leonard Theodore Carocious III, and he offers his hand to you. Most people just call me Lenny.
Okay.
Why'd you run? I don't remember you owing me any money.
No, I think we settled all of your accounts before you left. You know, just such a shock to see a good friend from the past.
Uh-huh.
Shock.
Well, you know how these things go. Sometimes old friends, they come back, and sometimes they die.
Somebody been going around saying I'm dead?
Saying you're dead? No. Wanting you dead, maybe? And you can see his face is now the color of my shirt.
I'm gonna take out my gun and start cleaning it.
Oh, Val, you know how I don't like guns. They make me rather nervous. When they come out, people tend to want to shoot people, and, well, I present, quite an abundance of target, and I would really not like to, have any additional holes in my body. The pancreator saw fit to give me the exact right number of holes in my body, and I would like to keep it there, no more and no less.
Well, I'm open to negotiation if you let me know who wants me dead.
It's not so much... Listen, Val, you know how these things go. If I tell you they come back here, they put more holes in my body. We're old friends. You don't want Lenny to have more holes in his body than he currently has, right?
I don't know. starting to piss me off, Len.
Do you want to make this a little bit more forceful here, Val?
Yeah, I'm gonna just casually move my gun into a little bit more towards him.
Alright, so I'm going to want a presence plus impress roll. And because of Lenny's dislike of violence and your clear willingness to be violent, I'm going to make this favorable. So you get to roll twice and pick the better of the two.
All right. I succeed with an 8.
And Perpetual, what are you doing while Val threatens Lenny with impending violence and additional holes?
I'm looking at the papers on the table.
All right, give me a perception plus. Are you reading through them, or are you just trying to scan them quickly and see what?
I want to know what kind of papers they are and see if I recognize any names.
Okay, so give me a perception plus observe. And how much do you want to spend on intimidating Lenny here, Val?
I'd like him to be really intimidated, so I'm just gonna spend the 8.
Okay. Oh, please don't kill me, Val. I swear, all I did, I gave them what they... Listen, I didn't think that they would use what I gave them the way they did. Sometimes people use things not the way that they're supposed to. You know, like when you're using a gun to point it menacingly at an old friend.
No, I'm using this exactly how I mean to.
Or like, you know, when, like somebody uses a crowbar to smash a person's fingers. Not the original...
Lenny, the point.
If you think this is intimidating, you should have seen her a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Listen. You know, I can get things from the city. And sometimes people need jobs done on different estates. And so I may have provided someone. She seemed very nice at the time. The schematics to the Van Dorm estate. Listen, you were off-world. Gregor was off-world. It was like, what's the worst that could happen? Gregor doesn't even like his stepmother.
Well, Letty, you're looking at the worst that could happen, except I'm about to make it worse if you don't tell me who she was.
Okay. I didn't get a name because you know how this is. The fact that we know each other's names is just because we're such good and dear and old personal friends. But I can tell you what she looked like, and I can tell you that as scary as you are, she seemed... I'm not going to insult you and say that she was scarier than you. But let's be honest. She was pretty scary. And you know how I don't like... I don't like... Anyway, she had very nondescript clothes, and she had hold on, it's like white hair with like red streaks in it, and she had this weird piece of jewelry, and she paid quite a bit of Firebirds for the information. She seemed very focused on getting everything that she could about Lucia and her old contacts and her old jobs, and she kept asking about this woman Beatrice, and as far as I know, I don't know that Lucia knows any Beatrices, but there was B, but I thought B standed for Bertha, not Beatrice.
Where'd she go? Do you know where she's based out of? We're trying to find her.
Listen, I don't know what she's based out of. But...
Come on, you hear things. That's why we're such good friends,
Good
Len.
friends who would never... poke holes with bullets in each other. No, I do know something, Val, but here's the thing. If it gets back to me, you won't tell anyone that I told you.
Of course not.
Okay. And I can trust you, right?
Lenny, you've known me how long?
A long time.
Do you really need an answer to that?
Okay, she's was very interested in one of Lucia's old warehouses, one of the ones that sort of fell off of the books.
I think I know the one.
Perpetua, as you're kind of flipping through this, you notice kind of how much do you want to spend on so first of all, do you succeed?
Yes, I did, and I will spend 8 again.
All right. Well, I don't have to write any more numbers. Normally, I just keep track of the numbers so that I can remember, but everything has been 8s tonight. That could have been the name of the episode, Crazy 8s. So, Perpetua, as you're scanning through here, you see, I'm going to give you 2 pieces of information. You can ask 2 more questions or just say, what else do I know? Okay? So every 2 that you spent gave you a piece of information. 1, there is a record of a request for so these are all these are the books, right? These are the books that Lenny is keeping for someone. But you do know that a request came in through a House Decados contact for a stolen flitter. And actually that flitter sort of matches the description of the one that they took Gregor in. The second piece of information that you have is that there is something, like all of the deliveries, there were a bunch of requests that came in. They were all sent to Bay 87 at the Hakkonen spaceport. So you can either ask 2 more questions of like what like you're looking for something specific in the ledgers, I can give you information, or I can just give you 2 additional pieces of information, your choice.
Yeah, just give me 2 more pieces of information.
Okay. One is there was a 700,000 Firebird donation to ensure that there was basically a comms blackout over the Van Dorm estate for a 2-hour period right before you guys showed up. That you can only assume that counts for bribes, that counts for equipment, that counts for people, but somebody paid nearly 750,000 Firebirds to ensure that no calls were going out or in to the Van Dorm estate when this all went down. The other piece of information is that they have hired about a dozen goons, like local toughs, some of the names that Val would recognize, to guard this warehouse, but not the Decados estate. Like all of the money kind of went to hiring thugs to guard the warehouse.
Okay. Val, what do you know about the spaceport?
Do I know anything about this spaceport?
I mean, it's the largest one. I mean, the Hakkonen spaceport is the largest one on the continent. It is. I mean, it was where the Oboy would have originally landed. Most, and when I say most, we're talking like 95% of the space traffic comes there. Some noble estates, the larger ones, so like the Van Dorm estate or the Hawkwood estate, they maintain large enough landing pads for some ships to land, if that makes sense. The majority of traffic comes through the spaceport.
Do I know if Decados keeps kind of reserved space at the port? they big enough?
Decano's, I mean, most of the noble houses do. The largest chunk is obviously Hawkwood because they control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Duchess Catherine is the ruler of Lemmincainen, and so they have the largest reservations at the spaceport. The other noble houses, the Orthodox and the Battle Order, they really kind of keep theirs at the cathedral. They tend to use smaller shuttles to ferry important dignitaries, that sort of thing, up and down from the cathedral.
Okay. I will
The Morality
relay
Cathedral.
that.
So, as you can see, Val, this is clearly not my fault. You know how it is. When a large amount of money starts coming through, we don't look too closely at it.
Lenny, do me a favor. If you want to keep yourself free of extraneous holes and alive,
Yes.
you might want to look a little closer next time, because as bad as you might think I am, these people are worse. So let's just say it pays to be careful, all right?
Yes, Val. I appreciate the generosity of spirit. You know, if I had known you were involved, I would...
You would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, I would have. You know me so well. Listen, the money was too good. I got stupid. You know how it is.
I know how it is.
Is Lucia... I didn't think it was an old grudge. They seemed far more focused on Falcosis than they did Lucia. I didn't expect it to go as bad. Is it as bad as the reports are saying?
I'd say that whatever you heard, it's probably worse.
Listen. The only other thing I know whoever it was who came and hired me, she had a pair of blades at her side.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that she's definitely a duelist of some sort. Don't get close. You know how much Hazat loves poisons.
I appreciate it, Len.
Listen,
you are...
I'm an eel, I know it.
You are a slimy eel, but... I won't tell anybody you told me anything. As far as they know, I followed them straight off.
I appreciate it. Alright, that's basically all Lenny knows.
Alright. Is there a back door to this place?
Lenny points to the door that he was clearly running towards.
We can head out the back, because I think the barkeep wants to shoot me.
No, Jojo, just listen. You know how it is when people come in and... Yeah, Jojo's just protective of the books.
Alright, well, tell Jojo I'm not after his books, and watch your back.
I always do.
I'll head out the back.
Alright, so you head out the back. What's the plan, ladies?
So I tell Val that I can see that someone has hired guards for this warehouse. It might be a diversion, but
They might.
I can't think of a reason that they might. It looks like maybe they're smuggling. They reserved this bay at the spaceport, and I don't know what else they would be keeping there.
Probably smuggling something in. I mean, they're trying to do something. Maybe they need supplies, contraband. I guess they're smuggling from Bay 86 into the warehouse and hired the toughs to defend it. Said there were 12 people they hired?
Yes.
I think we should try.
I don't know if it's going to be easier. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be easier to try to sneak past 12 randos or sneak into the estate.
I feel like the warehouse seems too obvious. I don't know. I feel like they're doing something else there.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you think we should go for the warehouse? I mean, I'm open to suggestions.
I think you know this place better than I do, and if you want to go check out the estate, there's two of us, and maybe we can figure something out.
I feel like it might be easier to get into the estate than to take down 12. Nah, I know some of these guys. They're not great people.
Sure.
Okay.
Now, I think it's the House Decados estate, right? Okay. So I will share that information as well.
And that's the direction where they were landing, right? That's the estate that I didn't know whose house it was that they
Exactly.
that possibly could have been going to.
Exactly.
All right. Guess it's worth a shot. If we get in there and we don't see anything, I can try to get us out and we can circle back.
All right. So you guys are going to try and sneak into House Decados, is one of the smaller estates kind of scattered throughout the city. All right. So I'm going to need dexterity plus stealth rolls.
I believe these are favorable for me.
Sneak rolls. Dexterity plus sneak.
You know what's really funny is that I have not taken any points in sneak.
Well,
Hilarious.
don't forget you could surge and have points in your pool.
So I have points in my pool, right? Because I've had a couple of rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I succeed with a 10.
How much are you spending to get into this estate?
So I spent...
Go ahead, Lily.
Go ahead. Oh, so I spent 6 to raise my goal to 15. I succeeded with a 14. And
Okay.
I'm going to spend 10 to sneak in, I think.
All right. Val.
I'll spend 10 as well. I succeeded with a 10, so I'll just spend them.
All right. So, as you head into the city, this is really a weird place for an estate, Val. This is not the nicer part of Hakkonen. This is, this is the part that you used to run in. So you know how rough it is. Perpetua, this is definitely not like the bright, shiny places of Byzantium Secundus where the crew of the Oh Boy took you. Like a beachfront estate or a underground weird engineer genetic experiment, lab. This is Lowtown. This is the everyone is looking at everyone on the street. So why a noble house would have a small estate here is a little strange. But as you approach it, you can see this place has almost prison-like walls. They extend high above you, large coils of monofilament razor wire along the top, large gated entrance on 3 of the 4 sides. But with a stealth, with spending 10 on the stealth roll, let me ask you this: how do you guys sneak in?
Are there guards around, like around the fences, or is it just fenced?
No, it's just fenced at this point.
Okay. Is there a gate, or
There
is
is
there?
a gate.
Okay.
There are 3 gates, and these are because remember, Fading Suns has sort of this science fantasy future medievalism. So these are like wrought iron gates made from synth steel and that sort of thing.
Okay. I think what I would do first is just kind of circle around the perimeter and look for any kind of gaps in the fence, in the wall, anywhere where it's a little less repaired, where we could maybe get over or slip through.
With 10, you both, Val kind of goes to search this out while she's looking for a way in. Perpetua, are you doing anything? Or are you waiting for Val?
I am waiting for Val, but I am observing. Are there any people in sight at the estate at all, or is it just people outside?
So here's the weird thing, Perpetua. As you kind of walk casual, while there are clearly external cameras, you don't see a lot of people inside the estate. Every so often you may catch you catch the shadow of someone on the second floor of this small 2-story building on the inside. When I say estate, let's be honest, this is really more of a large 2-story tenement building that was walled off and repurposed by House Decados. You do see something flapping in the starlight on the roof, as if someone like there's something covered by a large tarp on the roof. While she's checking that out, Val, you don't find a weak spot in the wall, but you know what the nice part about this part of town is? Everything's built so closely. You can get into one of the other tenement buildings, and you can get over the wall.
Fantastic. I will find kind of the optimal entry point that's kind of hidden from the cameras, kind of between the gates, hidden from most of the windows.
With a 10 in sneak for both of you, I'm giving you a lot of narrative freedom here to describe how you do this, because yes. All right, so you get up into the oh, go ahead.
I do want to, before we kind of hop over the wall, I'm just gonna crouch down in the tenement for a second. This is kind of my turf. I know of like some old like bolt holes, places you can go to lay low if the guards are after you,
Sure.
that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I will kind of crouch down. So Perpetua, Lenny did warn me that if this is where they took Gregor, then this lady who took him is bad news. And I know that you're not really a fighter. So if we get in there, I need you to get Gregor out. I'll cover, and then I'm just gonna bolt. I don't want to be fighting this lady. We just need to get him and get out. And then I will give her specific instructions to kind of the safest, closest of these places where she can bolt for and lay low with Gregor until I can catch up.
Perpetua, as she's describing this to you, your think machine is just building a map in your head. Do you have a name for your think machine, or are we just going to refer to it as, you know, the think machine in your head?
I will think of a name because the first one I came up with, I don't think JD will like.
Special shout out
It's not offensive.
to JD and Phantom of Truth for being our moderators and our producers behind the scenes. Thank you to both of you.
I love you. So I'm going to tell Val, there was something covered in a tarp on the roof, and I don't know. They picked up Gregor. I don't know how they, got him away, but I'm wondering, if that's where he is.
Might be they covered the ship, didn't want it seen.
And I can't fly a ship, but can you?
I cannot.
Okay, well then that's not going to be our escape route, is it?
No, I think we should go in as quick and quiet as we can, and then you get Gregor, get out, and I'll follow.
Well, we'll have to hope Gregor's not injured or otherwise incapacitated, because let me tell you, I cannot carry him.
Oh, neither can I. We should have brought Gemma. All right. Hopping over the wall.
That whole time. So, as you jump over the grass and land in the overgrown grass, it is very clear that the thank you, chat, for reminding me that I was muted. You can see that the estate is not well taken care of. But in the courtyard, in the front area where kind of the main entrance of this estate is, there's a lot of trampled grass. Looks like a bunch of people have run through here recently. Several places are like the ground is depressed as if heavy containers had been set there. The only lights that you can see are the lights from the second floor and the floodlights kind of at the opening of this like grand estate, like the main entrance in and out. And it's at this point you hear a low moan coming from the second floor. Not a scream of pain, but definitely a low, painful grunt. And it's definitely Gregor's voice.
Okay. Is there an exterior staircase or like a fire escape or something, or do we have to go in through the front?
The walls are pretty run down. You could scale it pretty easily, Val.
I'm gonna try to get up and like look through the window without being seen, to see what we're working with here.
All right. Well, I will need a dexterity plus vigor roll from you to get up to the second floor. Perpetua, are you climbing as well, or are you just sort of staying here on the ground level?
I am not going to try to climb up after Val.
Okay, you're not.
Success with a 13.
All right, so you only need 4 to get up the wall. It's a pretty easy climb for you.
I'll spend 4.
All right. As you get up, you kind of peer over the edge of the window, and you can see Gregor, is sitting in a chair, a heavy metal chair. There's like everything in this room has been pushed to the side. There's tarps over it. It actually doesn't look like anyone has been in this estate for any length of time. Bound to this heavy chair, he is manacled, like with manacles to the chair, arms behind his back. It is very clear that whoever is the person pacing in the room knows Gregor's strength. You can see he gives just sort of this feral grin. There's blood kind of outlines each of his teeth as he spits on the ground, and you can see there is a thin, shallow gash right down the side of his left cheek, right along his cheekbone from temple to nose. His right eye is swollen shut, and this figure in the cloak and the hood is walking about, and 2 long dueling knives in each of her hands.
Okay. I'm gonna drop back down to where Perpetua is.
Okay.
I only saw Gregor and her. I didn't see anyone else. That was a question.
That was a
question.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a statement. Yes, you do not.
Okay.
You do not see anyone else in the estate at this point.
Okay.
This time, it is not a moan, but a scream that rings out in the night.
Was the window something that I could open fairly easily?
Yeah, you could jimmy it with a knavery roll.
Okay. So I'm gonna crouch down again. I only see one other person in there. I think we can try to draw her out. It's not that we should be able to get you up the wall. I'm gonna have to unlock manacles though, so that complicates things. Do you have any questions, or
do you want me to go in, distract her? I can walk around the house. I can, I don't have to engage. I can go make noise and draw her out. You can unpick his manacle.
I pull out a couple of my small explosives and I hand them to Perpetua. Don't throw
Do I know
these.
Please give me instructions.
Okay, so basically, you throw them really hard, and they'll make a big boom and a flash of light. Just make sure you're standing, like, well back, and maybe throw them, like, the other side of the house. I would suggest even just, like, throwing one, moving, and throwing another from a different place, so that there's, like, 2. Maybe we get this person super rattled. And I will shimmy back up the wall and wait to see if that works. And as soon as she leaves, if she does leave, I'll get through the window and try to get him out. I'll give Perpetua, I have 5 small explosives left, so I'll give Perpetua 4 of them, just to make sure that this is loud.
Okay. All right, so Perpetua, what's your plan? Val, go ahead and give me the Dex plus Knavery roll. This will be you need 6 to overcome, like, jimmying the window from outside. Perpetua, okay. You're heading just into the house and, like...
Well, I mean, not willy-nilly, no. So I do head into the house, and I'm going to try to see if I can navigate my way to the second floor where I think the door would be to that room, because I want to make the first noise where I'm sure they can hear it.
All right. So as you see Val starting to climb the wall quietly, the door is ajar, so you unscrew it. And as you head in, you can clearly see, like, it opens up into, right, this is a tenement building, but they have knocked down a lot of the walls to make this large open space on the first floor. There are metal tables everywhere with maps. You can see open cases of what looks to be like ammo crates, and they are empty. You can see large cases that have foam that clearly held disassembled rifles and shotguns and laser weapons, all taken apart. There's a half rebuilt e-shield dampener off in the corner, and there is a large map on the wall. It's a hard light display. You don't know much about Lemminkainen, but you know the Blood Desert, and you've heard enough people talk about Hadrian's Wall. It definitely looks like an attack plan on this mesa in the middle of the Blood Desert. It looks like a massive military operation was planned here.
Okay. I've named my think machine. Its name is Kepler.
Kepler?
And
Nice.
and I would like Kepler to take like a snapshot of this map for us to look at later.
Okay, so let me just ask you a quick question. How does Kepler sound in your head?
I think very robotic.
Okay.
Like, not
Okay.
conversational.
Not
or anything,
personalized in any way.
Yeah.
Unlike the delightful think machine that is currently in Jex's head.
Yeah. Very, very dissimilar to that because I don't ever want to be tricked.
All right, so Kepler is mapping the whole thing. And as you head up the stairs, I would like a observe plus perception roll from both Val and Perpetua as you are getting close to this room and are starting to overhear things. How much are you spending, Val?
I will spend 10.
Okay.
I succeed with a 3. I'm going to spend 6.
All right. So, Perpetua, as you're sneaking up there, Val, as you're you got the window open, you're hitting it with a bit of graphite to make sure it slides open smoothly. You hear, Captain's not gonna like this one, Alestra. You hear what happened to the last person who crossed her? I'm telling you, ship smelled like Vorox forever. And you just see the woman in the cloak backhand Gregor, and a tooth goes flying. Listen up, you slimy little piece of meat. I got told that I get to kill you. I didn't have to pay attention to you. Captain's already dead. Your mother already dead. You don't understand what's going on here. But now I see the truth. I see everything. And when I carve Gemma's heart from her chest, then the books will be even. It's not how it went down, Alestra. You know it. You were family. Pfft. Family. And you see Alestra takes one of her daggers, flips it around, and sort of dips it into something that's sheathed on the inside of her arm. And she flips it around, and she makes a little cut on Gregor's chest. 2 more nicks, and your heart stops in your chest. Don't worry. After all of the pain, I'll administer the antidote, and we'll take this carousel for another ride. And you can see Gregor's face, sweat has just beat it up on there, and he's breathing a little ragged. What do you guys do?
Oh, I heard that too.
You did?
Okay, so I've made my way to outside the door.
Yes, Val, with your extra 4 points, you clearly hear the hum of an e-shield.
Okay.
Yes, Perpetua, you are on the other side of the door. What are you going to do?
Is it an action to activate an e-shield?
It is an action to activate an
And it
e-shield.
Probably break my stealth.
They are noisy, but you are outside of the room. I would Alestra would gain she could make a perception roll to try and.
I'll
Here.
wait until she moves.
Okay.
And then I want to flip mine on before I go into the room.
All right, Perpetua, what are you doing?
I do not stand behind the door.
The door clearly opens into the room.
Okay, great. So I stand to one side of the door and I throw the first explosive the opposite direction of where I am and run away.
Okay, so it hits, starts rolling down the stairs, and then explodes with a loud noise. Inside the room, you see Alestra. I mean, you've heard of her. Her head turns fast enough that her hood kind of falls back, and you can see the white hair, you can see the golden chain that stretches from her nose to her ear. But you can also see a bright red mark on the back of her neck, Val, and it's that same symbol that you saw on the back of Tag's armor, that kind of crescent with the line coming through it. It's raw, as if it's a tattoo that was recently gained within the last couple of days. Oh, Gregor, looks like the cavalry's here. Don't go anywhere. And she gives him another cut, and Gregor kind of, he goes to say something, and you can see, Val, his eyes have, like, dilated, and he's getting a little, like, his breathing's coming very, very ragged. And Alestra goes striding towards the door. She opens the door, puts her hand on the door, pauses, pulls something off of her belt, sets it down on the floor, and twists it. And you can see this orange light starts to come from it. And then she heads out in the door. She's going to attempt to find you, Perpetua.
Just to be clear, I'm running up towards the flitter because I think that she doesn't want me to know it's there.
Oh, interesting. All right, so you're heading to the third floor, or to the roof, as it were. All right, Alestra leaves the room.
I'm flicking on my e-shield. Can I see? Do I know what the thing that she turned on at the door is? Can I peer through and try to figure out what kind of awful trap she just set for me?
Sure. Give me a wits plus tech redemption roll.
Oh, good lord. Okay.
And yes, Occam's Razor, that is the interesting thing about this. This is the two PCs who have no connection with this person. Aside from the fact that she stole Gregor.
Well, I rolled a 1, but I've got VP to burn, so I'll do 8. Let's stay with 8s.
Okay. With 8, you would recognize a proximity mine anywhere.
So as long as I stay outside of the orange light, I'm okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, then I'm going through the window and making sure I stay out of the light, and I'm gonna start unlocking Gregor's manacles.
Val, you shouldn't be here. She's gonna kill you.
No, she's not. It's fine. We're getting you out of here. Just sit tight.
If she has a really, really strange view of how things went down.
I have no idea who this is, but I'm gonna shoot her in the face as soon as possible. So let's get you out of here so we can do that.
Okay. Gregor is going to be, as soon as you unmanacle his arms, he sort of falls forward on his knees and rolls out of the chair with a heavy thump, and you hear, "Oh."
Okay. Things are not going according to plan.
We should have brought Gemma's drugs.
Yeah, we didn't bring Gemma's drugs, and I have no points in anything to do with anything like healing. I'm a reverse healer.
That's right.
I did hear the crazy assassin-y lady mention something about an antidote, so I'm just gonna kind of slap him on the face just really gently, like, hey.
He's out. He's breathing really ragged. He is like it sounds like every breath is like a struggle for him.
Okay. Can I look quickly around the room, try to find a vial of something that might be an antidote?
There's nothing, and you did see her pat her chest when she said the antidote.
Okay. Okay. That's great. We really should have brought Gemma's drugs. He's like not waking up at all.
He is out. He's unconscious.
Okay, can I?
You do have squawkers like linked to Perpetua.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Perpetua. Like, I don't know.
You can clearly hear Perpetua running through an echoey tunnel.
I don't know where you're running, but Gregor's out. We need an antidote that's on the lady, so I guess just running is out. Where is she? Do you have eyes on her?
Do you look back, Perpetua?
Yep.
You clearly see sparks coming from the left-hand side of the hallway, as you can see this person is walking towards you, and she's got one of her dueling daggers, and like it's sparking a lot more than it should, just for metal on concrete. I don't know who you are, but I assume you're one of those strays that the captain likes to pick up. You should be aware. She's a lying glitch, and she'll leave you to die as soon as looking at you twice. Now, stay away from that stairwell, and why don't you come back and we'll have a nice little talk like civilized folk. You can see now that the dagger, the dueling blade, is about an inch into the concrete and cutting a clear line in the concrete.
This stairwell? I wonder what's up here.
That's where you know what's up there, yeah.
I do.
You do. So Val, you can hear her talking to Perpetua.
Okay. I'll go back on the comms. Get her up to the roof. And I'm gonna go back out the window and try to climb up to the roof.
All right. You are able with the. I'm gonna let it ride. You are able to scale to the roof. Perpetua, are you heading up the stairwell? All right.
The roof. It's about to be on fire.
That's right. We don't need no water. As you get up there, Perpetua, you can clearly see carbon scoring on the roof. You saw strange metal struts underneath, and it now makes sense. They've clearly reinforced the roof to allow things like flitters to land here. There's a ton of carbon scoring, as if multiple engines, did a hard burn to stop and settle down here and then took off again. In the night breeze, the tarp is flapping, and you clearly see the flitter that took off from the Van Dorm estate. Val, you now have a song in the chat. That's awesome. Perpetua,
Thanks,
you can
Brooke. That's awesome.
You can clearly hear the sound of boots on concrete as this person is running, clearly running after you, and starts to mount the stairs. You can see Val kind of come up at the far end.
Can I gauge how close this crazy woman is to the top of the stairs?
She's going to be here in about 8 seconds.
I throw a second grenade.
Huh. Okay. So I need a strength plus vigor roll from you.
I'm not throwing it at her. I'm throwing it at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, you're just sort of tossing it in her, general direction.
I succeed with a 6. I will spend the 6.
All right, so here's the way explosives work, because they're fun. The way explosives work in Fading Suns is that these marble-sized pallets have a blast area of 3 meters. They are a blaster, which means that your final damage, we will roll a bunch of dice, and on evens, they go through the shield, and on odds, the shield deflects them. And they're explosive, which means they have a blast force, which is, awesome. All right, so how much do you want to spend to overcome Alestra's resistance?
So I'll go ahead and surge.
Just so you know, against explosives, all resistance save armor is ignored. So her nimble advantage, which increases her body resistance, does not apply here.
Great. I'm glad Val gave me explosives. This is dangerous.
Explosives?
I do not feel that Perpetua needed explosives.
These explosives are the best thing I've ever stolen.
They're amazing. I love them. All right, so I have surged, which means what? I have 10.
You have 10 additional in your pool.
Yeah. I will spend 6 to overcome resistance.
Okay. You spend 6, and you definitely hear a grunt of pain. So the base damage on these marble-sized explosives is 3. How much would you like to spend? Do you want to spend any to up the damage?
I will spend my remaining 4 from my surge to increase by 2. We're at 5.
Okay. All right. All right, so the shield absorbs 1 of the 5 points of damage, and Alestra comes up out of the stairwell. Cloak on fire. You can see she kind of snaps the pin at her neck, dropping it back. You can see she is wearing what seems to be some sort of armored body sheath. Hair has been pulled back into, again, like a long braid that now hangs down the back of her head and is very singed. And she twirls one of the knives in her hand. She's like, I don't know who you are, which means I get to kill you for getting involved. And she has a perk that lets her go first. Do you have anything?
So do I.
Are you activating
I
it?
have initiative edge. I'm going to activate my initiative edge.
All right, so we will roll a d20 and see who goes first. Higher roll wins, Val.
Okay.
Pick one of the ones that was rolling 20s.
I just did. I got an 18.
All right, well, I got an
Atta girl.
11, so I spent a VP to gain initiative edge, and I will be going second. So, Val, go ahead. You're first. You come up. You can see the flames shoot out of the roof access. You can see the wind whipping the tarp that covers the flitter. It's a cameline tarp, so it's really this one edge that has snapped free, which is why you can see it. The rest of it sort of blends into the surroundings. Perpetua is between you and Alestra, and Alestra's blades, you can kind of see the like what light of the stars are reaching here. You can see that her blades are really hard to stare at, almost as if they're moving back and forth very quickly. She probably has some sort of vibro enhancement on the blades.
Okay. So first things first, I'm going to surge to get some extra VP. Because what I'm trying is not what I should be trying.
Yes, Jenny, that's exactly what I'm saying. Resistance is futile.
So I saw where she kind of like tapped her shoulder
Oh,
when
yeah.
she was talking about
Yep.
the antidote.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to run at her,
Okay.
try to shove her back, and grab that vial.
Okay, so is the primary intent to grab the vial or the primary intent to shove her back? All right, so I'm going to need a Dex plus Knavery roll from you.
Oh, thank you. That's actually going to be okay.
I mean, I appreciate that you appreciate it, but it's not. I didn't do it for you. I
succeed with a 3.
All right, so you are going to have to. How much are you trying to spend to overcome kind of her natural reflexes and her ability to, I mean, it's in a pouch, so it's already more difficult than like picking someone's pocket or taking a watch off of it.
I just surged, so I have some extra VP, so I will spend 12.
Well, with a 12, you sort of grab and pull, and a small vial comes out into your hand. It's only about that big, red liquid inside of it, and Alestra gives you this grin, that lets you know she's really glad you closed the distance.
Yeah. I've got my shield on. It's not going to do any good.
You're Gregor's little playmate. They told me you may be coming after me. Good. I was a little worried about going against Gemma. You two will provide a good warm-up. And she tries to get you with her weapon.
Okay.
All right, so Val, what's your body resistance?
I'm trying to find where I have that. How is body resistance calculated?
It's just based off of your armor and any additional perks that you may have. Again, like nimble.
Okay, it's at a 4? Not great.
All right. Well, she is going to spend 6 to overcome your body resistance.
And I can raise it, right?
You can spend more to raise it, yes.
I'll spend 10.
So that'll get it to 14.
Yeah.
All right, I'll spend the 8 to match it. So she clips you with her blade. Now, because two things. Because it's a vibroblade, your shield is 6 to 9. It's no longer 5 to 10. All right? And she has Serpentis, which is a fencing style. So for her 1 VP, she took melee, or she took, initiative edge, and she will increase her damage by 1. So, Val, her base damage against you is... Actually, no, she's not going to do that. She's going to... what's the other thing she can do? She's going to increase her own body resistance by 2.
Okay.
Alright, so she's going to do 5 points of damage to you, Val. The blade slices through your armor. Your shield does not activate. And... 8. What is your endurance?
Sorry, I never use endurance.
Right hand side, it's under your physical attributes.
7.
7. All right, so Val, your arm immediately goes sluggish, and you are at -1 to endurance and strength, and are mangled, which means you have to be healed from that before you can recover vitality. You can feel the same poison kind of racing through your veins. Perpetua, you're up.
I'm just kind of holding the vial out to the side where Perpetua can see it.
And your other hand is kind of like numb against your body.
So how fast? Well, I guess I will try to grab the vial and see if I can. Well, I mean, at least then there will be 2 targets instead of just 1.
Okay. You can. I mean, taking the vial from Val's outstretched arm is not a primary action. So, is there anything else you want to do with your primary
good.
action?
I will go be behind Alestra.
Okay, so you're going to try and move around behind her. Are you going to take any actions?
I will take out my gun, I suppose.
Okay.
But also, so if I am behind, can I see the scar?
You can. And you clearly recognize the scar. That's the same marking that was all over the Pirates' Haven that you went to. It's the symbol of the cult of the abandoned.
Yes. I wondered about that. Great. Bad
memories? Val, roll off to see who goes first. Are you spending that VP again? Because I am as well.
Yep, I'll spend it.
All right.
13.
16. So she will be going first this time.
Great.
All right. She takes one of her blades, spins it around, and she's going to try and attack both of you. Val, green or blue?
Blue.
All right. Both hit. So let me start with the primary hand. So that would be Perpetua. Blade comes in and catches you under the side. I'm spending 6 to overcome your body resistance.
I guess I'll let you.
Oh, well, thanks. What's your endurance?
5.
5? All right. So you also have a -1 endurance and strength as the poison hits you. And you don't have an E-shield on, right? At this
Not
point?
currently.
All right. So she will deal 6 points of damage to you. The other one will hit you, Val, and I'm going to spend 6 again to overcome your body resistance.
Okay, nothing I can do about it.
All right. You will take 5 damage.
Okay.
And she's kind of like, she's got a blade trained on both of you, kind of standing on the balls of her feet, almost like a dancer. Val, you're up next.
How do called shots work in Fading Suns?
Well, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to shoot her hand so that she drops that poison dagger. So I'm going to kind of take a few steps back and try to shoot right for her hand.
All right. So that would normally be a melee attack, but let's be honest, I love doing stuff like this. Do you have a weird point to spend? If you've got a weird point, I'll let it happen with no penalties.
No, but I have Ingenious, so I can spend my remaining 3 VP to turn it into a weird point.
Do you have a weird point, Perpetual? Because remember, they are shared by the table.
Yeah, you can have one of mine. I think I have 2.
Thank you.
All right,
Even better.
So here's the thing. You will have to basically beat her strength or her melee, whichever is higher. That's going to be the difficulty for you.
Okay, so I roll a dexterity plus shoot.
You'll roll a dex plus shoot.
Okay.
And the resistance of this will be 10.
Okay. if I can actually roll a dice on the table. I succeed on that shoot roll with a 12, and I will spend 10 of those.
All right, what's the base damage on your weapon?
It is 5, but I will spend one of my remaining VP to lower it to 4, since she has an E-shield up and I'm trying to get it through the shield.
Well done, Val. What kind of weapon are you using?
It is my... believe this would be my Martech Gold.
All right, so you put which hand were you shooting? The one with the dagger towards you, or the one that was the dagger towards Perpetua?
The one with the dagger towards Perpetua, since to my knowledge, that's the one with the poison on it.
All right.
I want her to drop that.
You put a shot right through the back of her right hand, and the dueling blade goes spinning through the air and hits and buries itself about 6, like it hits into the concrete roof and then slowly starts sinking in as it basically is vibrating deeper into the concrete. You can see Perpetua's face through the hole in Alestra's hand, and her head whips back over towards you. Perpetua, what are you doing?
I now remember my E-shield and will turn it on.
Wow. All right, Val. I'm spending the VP to get initiative edge.
Me too.
All right.
19.
All right, you definitely get to go first on this one.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna shoot her regularly since I don't have a weird point. I'm just gonna do a regular shot straight at her.
Okay, go for it.
That's really cocked. Okay. Stop. My dice won't lay flat. That's a success with a 14.
How much are you spending?
I'll spend 10 to overcome her resistance.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't... Wait, how... Was that just the resistance on hitting her hand?
That was the resistance on hitting her hand. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just her resistance.
Oh, do you want to drop?
Yeah, I'll try 6 instead.
All right, that's still... So she will spend 3 and up it to... So she'll spend 4 and up it to 9. So her body resistance is 5.
Can I up again?
You get one chance to... Do you want to up it to 9?
I do.
All right, go for it.
So I will do that. And then I will spend a VP to lower my damage again so it punches through the shield.
All right. So you guys have inflicted 12 vitality on Alestra. What is she gonna do?
Could I also move just a little?
Sure.
Could I get between her and that knife that I knocked out of her hand?
Oh, definitely. You guys are kind of spinning around. It doesn't matter what Gregor says. It doesn't matter what you do here. I finally see clearly. And if this is the way that my family wants me to go out, then by God, I'm taking one of you with me. And she tries to put the dagger, like, up through the bottom of your jaw, Val.
Oh, great. Love that. Love that for me.
It's a good look. I mean, not a great look, but a good look. Val, she did not crit, but she definitely hit with a 14. She's going to spend 6 to overcome your body resistance. So she kind of, like, right hand hanging at her side. She kind of brings her whole arm around to kind of get around the back of your neck, and she's trying to drive this blade up under your jaw.
Okay, I mean, I would like her not to do that. So
That's
can I
fair.
spend 6 to increase my body resist to 10?
You can. And I will... 4. All right, so I will spend the 4 to match it.
Of course.
And I will... I mean, you have an E-shield on. You managed to get just out of the way so that the blade kind of rides up the side of your face, scoring down to the bone for 5 points of damage.
Okay.
I'm not trying to do body horror, but I'm trying to describe it. Describe it. You're up, Perpetua.
This one's not as much body horror. It's still gross, but could be worse. Okay, so this time I will. Let's see. All right, so I will shoot Alestra.
Okay.
In the. No, I'm not going to do a called shot. I will shoot Alestra.
Okay.
Ooh, I do not succeed.
Uh,
I would like you to know that dice are really in on the characterization with not good at shooting.
good at everything else, not good at shooting. The shot, and you're firing. What is your weapon that you're firing, Perpetua?
Thumper Ulik.
Okay, there's this sound. Yeah, there's this massive crack, and both you and Alestra kind of part as you definitely feel something pass between you. All right, Val, I'm spending the VP again.
Me too.
All right.
16.
All right, you go first again. I got a 12.
Okay, I'm going to use my Ingenious perk to turn my remaining 3 VP into a weird point. And I would like to do a called shot aiming for her head. I want to knock her back, stun her, whatever I can. I need her off my tail.
All right, go for it.
Oh, what is my shoot? It's high, right? Success with a 15 to
All right,
shoot her.
So we're gonna say that the base to increase this is 4 for the called shot. So you've got her body resistance is essentially 9 right now. So what do you want your initial shot to be?
I have to spend 9, which leaves me with 6 left. I'll raise it to... I'll spend 12 and see.
All right, so I'm going to spend... she's going to set her body resistance to a total of, with the 4 that's in there, to a total of 14.
Okay.
You don't have enough to... Do you have any surges left?
So if I increase to 14, does that hit, or does meat hit?
Meat hits, yeah.
Okay, then I'll spend another 2.
All right. And then you're going to do your base damage?
I'm going to spend my last VP
to drop it?
To reduce it.
Well, and don't forget, you get, because you have Gunslinger, when you spend 1 VP, you get to pick 2 of those things. So it's one to do both.
I don't have to spend that VP.
Yeah, so you should have at least 1 more than you currently do.
Right, I've been spending it every round, but I'll just call it 1 because I don't remember how many times I've done that.
All right. Val, she just charges at you, blade flashing, as she attempts to...
I do have a surge left. I just checked my notes. Can I surge at the end of my turn?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Because otherwise I'm in trouble.
Val, she hits, and she is also surging. She's going to start at 6, as she does.
Okay. I will raise to 10.
Raise to 10. She'll match it for 5.
I'll. I hate her. I'll raise it to 14.
All right. She comes in. You barely manage to get your gun in the way as, like, she just weaves this net of death, and you kind of stagger back. Perpetua, you are up.
I'm yelling to Perpetua, we need to get out of here now. There's a proximity mine on the door where Gregor is.
Ooh, good remembering. Because I have in big notes proximity mine.
I'm gonna take that as Val telling me to get out of the way, but I don't know that I want to run that. I will run down the stairs, but I'm not gonna go out of the range of hearing.
Okay. All right, so she runs away. Val, die rolls.
Please, please, please. 14.
I would throw another mine. I mean, I would throw another grenade, Val, but I think you're in the blast radius.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out of the way.
All right, well, that was at 12, so you get to go first.
Okay, first things first, I'm backing up.
Okay.
I would like to still be able to see her, but I would like to go as far as I can. And
The roof is wide open, so...
Can I head down the stairs and still be able to see her?
No, once you head down the stairs, she will be out of sight.
How far out onto the roof did she go? Is she, like, still in the doorway?
No, she can't... I mean, she charged you, so we're talking, like, she's probably 4 meters from the door.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go to the door.
Okay.
And I'm gonna shoot her.
Go for it.
What else am I gonna do? Okay. I succeed with an 11.
How much are you spending? You know 5 is her body resistance.
I'll spend 8 to start.
She'll raise it to 9.
I'll go up to...
You just need to spend 1.
I'll go up to 9.
All right, what's the damage that you want to inflict on Alestra?
4.
Val, what's it look like?
Thank God. Okay, at this point, Val's just really, really glad to still be alive. So honestly, I'm kind of running towards the door. I'm just gonna turn back for a minute, look her dead in the eyes, shoot her straight through one of them, and say, if you know what's good for you, stay down.
You put the shot through her left eye, and like her forward momentum carries her 2 more steps. Her left knee buckles, and she hits the ground hard. Perpetua, for no apparent reason, I need you to give me a faith plus focus roll.
I do not succeed.
All right, you feel something cold slam into you as you get to the bottom of the stairs, and you swear you hear wings. And as you look down, you can see one black feather just sort of float gently to earth. But Val, this person who kidnapped Gregor, lies dead at your feet. Brain matter and blood slowly spreading onto the concrete roof.
So, these people have a regrettable habit of coming back after we kill them. So I would like to set one of my medium explosives just to take care of that.
I was gonna say, burn her!
I would like it to go away.
Okay, so you want to use an explosive to blow the body up, is what I'm hearing you say.
That is what you're hearing me say, JM.
Cool. So why don't you give me... No, like, I'm just gonna let you do this. You,
Okay.
like, there's no finesse. You just sort of, like, activate it, put it under her body, and go running. Perpetua, as you stand there kind of frozen at the bottom of the stairs, you do hear an explosion go off. Concrete chunks fall from the room on your left. And there is smoke that starts rising behind you as Val kind of comes down the stairs.
You okay?
I mean, I'm bleeding a little, but yeah, we can get out of here. Let's go get Gregor.
Do you know how to disarm a proximity mine? Do I know how to disarm a proximity mine? I guess I'll go in through the fudging window and give him the antidote.
Do we have any idea what the distance is on that mine?
You know that it was shedding an orange light that Val assumed was the radius, but very quickly that light sort of went into a spectrum not visible to the eyes.
No, but I mean,
Oh, in
how
general?
big the boom will be.
Oh, the boom it'll be a big boom. It'll definitely kill everyone in the room.
Say, let's just detonate it if it's not going to kill Gregor.
No, it would definitely
Gregor,
kill everyone in the room.
Okay, great.
I guess I will go get
I hand you
through
the-
the window.
I hand you the antidote before you go.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, as you...
And hope that it wakes him up.
All right, so Perpetua, are you heading back outside? All right, Val, you climb back in through the window, and several minutes later, Gregor's eyes sort of flutter open, and his breathing is now much calmer, and you both hear over the squawker Calypso's voice. We got him! We got Lucia, and... Bork! Tag's on the ship!
Oh,
That's where we'll end for tonight.
okay.
You guys rescued Gregor! Well done!
Why is Tag on the oh boy? I didn't watch last week, like, on purpose because Val wouldn't know.
Well, you'll just have to go back and watch last week, but next week we will be back on Thursday night with more Fading Suns. As Perpetua and Val have to catch up with the oh boy. Will the crew who's on the oh boy be able to deal with Tag while still flying across the Blood Desert? Hopefully Val or Perpetua may know how to fly a flitter. No? Not so much? Alright, well, good luck. Check out...
Maybe Lenny has a,
What was that?
maybe Lenny has a pilot for us.
Maybe Lenny has a pilot for you. He does owe you. Please check out all of the other amazing shows on the Ulysses International channel. You can hit that little heart button right beneath the screen, turn on the little bell button, and if you want to, subscribe to the Ulysses International channel. They do great games. We're here every Tuesday with Torg. We're here every Thursday with Fading Suns. Ulysses Worlds goes live on Thursdays in general. It's a news show. Heretical Musings, if you love Fading Suns, check out the Heretical Musings show. You can also find Ross, who plays in the Torg's Day night game with me. We talk about Myth, Tales of Legend, a new role-playing game that will be coming out from Ulysses later this year, early next year, when the Kickstarter goes live. As well as Myth Dawn of Heroes, the updated and reimagined version of the board game, which I've gotten to play, and the new rules that they're putting together are really just amazing. Thank you to you, chat. Like, I love interacting with you guys. Occam's Razor, Restar, Rook, Phantom, everybody who's in here. Mark, I see you as well. Thank you all for showing up. And check out, if you like what we do, we're Iconic Production. We're on the Iconic Production channel. You can check out our 5e game on Friday nights, which is run by our friend Josh. And this Monday, I have the distinct pleasure of taking over the Monday night game. I will be running a Wrath and Glory, a Warhammer 40,000 one-shot. and instead of our normal Call of Cthulhu game. So please feel free to jump in and check that out. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I am JM the GM. This is Val and Perpetua, 2 of the crew members of the Oh Boy, and we will be back next Thursday with the whole group. Until then, we'll see you guys later.